Welcome in to sportsbookreview.com. I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And this is the College Football Show. On today's show, we are going to go over the Sun Belt Conference. Now, we've been through this before. This season's a little weird. Everybody's got a different number of games now. Everything's just kind of up in the air. We don't know which games are actually going to get played. But
we're finding out, quickly, some games that were scheduled are not scheduled anymore.
Yeah, some are being postponed. But hey, we're going to give you a preview very quickly of each team.
Best we know how.
And we're going to tell you what we think the record is as the schedule stands right now, etc.
I will not, because as these teams keep adding games and changing games, my spreadsheet gets monkeyed up pretty bad.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. All right, so here's the deal. I'm going to give you my projected record, and then we'll go from there. But first things first, before we do that, if you like the show, make sure that you hit that like button. It's the little thumbs up button right down there, right underneath us. And make sure you go and click the links that are in the description, or you can just go over to sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. Do yourself a favor. I'm telling you, full of content. It's going to be fantastic this season. I can't wait. I can't wait for full football. So go over and check it out, sbrpicks.com/NCAAF, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I mean, that's an easy thing to do. If you like what you're watching, we're going to be here all year. So hop on in, do the damn thing, and let's dive in. First things first, App State. And yes, I know that should always be the first thing in the Sun Belt, right? Sean Clark, in his first season there, this is their third head coach in 3 years. You know, Satterfield left. He went to Louisville. He has done good things at App State and at Louisville. Eli Drinkwitz comes in for a year after he's the offensive coordinator at NC State. He comes into App State, goes 13-1, jumps off to Columbia, Missouri. Now you've got Sean Clark, who has been there through all of this. He's an offensive line coach. You got first-year guys all over the place, but these are guys that are comfortable with the program. You got 70% returning production on this team, 87% returning production on the offense, and that's the biggest thing. Quarterback Zach Thomas is back. And you do have some studs on defense. You got cornerback Sean Jolly and defensive end Demetrius Taylor. Defense, only 4 starters returning. The question is going to be how quickly Sean Clark can transition to that head chair. I've got him at 9-2. How do you feel about App State? You feel pretty good about this team?
Yeah, I think they're still going to be consistent. I think they're still going to be the top of the heap. If you ask me over/under on how I felt about your 9-2, if I had to take, I'd probably stay over or push. I think you're good. Yeah. I think it's a good number. Well, I just can't see them losing to many of these teams.
No, I agree with you. I agree. I think that they are. I mean, this is a fantastic team.
Talent-wise, they're just better than them, yeah. and just the way the program has been built over the last several years, they're just ever since they got to Division I or FBS or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, they're just a different. They're ready for this.
Yeah, they are light years more advanced and more fundamentally sound than almost everybody that they play. So, yeah, I feel good about App State. I've got them at 9-2. Would it shock me to see them go undefeated? Would it shock me to see them even go 7 wins? Nothing would shock me this season.
Yeah, this is a weird season.
Weird year. Let's move on from there. Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers. Oh, yes. Jamie Chadwell in his 3rd season, and this is really just his 2nd season without that interim tag on, right?
That's right.
So I will go ahead and tell you this. These are the best coordinator names maybe in the history of the world. Offensive coordinator, so they've got Newland Isaac and Willie Korn that are both, and that's Korn with a K, that are the co-offensive coordinators. These are all in their 2nd year, by the way. Defensive coordinator is Chad Staggs. Hey, right? You feel it?
That's a good one. That's a good name. That's a good name.
It made me
I grew up with a couple of guys with the last name Staggs.
There you go. But was it a Chad Staggs? Because that just seems like it would be in like a movie or something.
Not to have somebody that everybody just goes and Googles or whatever. I don't know that you'd find anything. One of them's name was Rocky Staggs.
There you go. There you go.
That's a good name.
That's it. Yeah, we went to school with him. There you go. Offense returns 88% of their production. That's not bad.
That's a lot of guys coming back.
Defense, 62%. So not as good, but pretty good. Pretty good. They are projected favorites in 1 of only 10 games.
It's not great.
Not great. They've got a talent advantage in 0.
Yep.
Their projected wins is 3.07. I want them to do well. Defensive end, Taron Jackson, linebacker, Teddy Gallagher. That defense should be fairly good. Running back, CJ Marable, he was all conference. I mean, he's good. He's real good. They got 2 quarterbacks that are really comfortable with their system now that could show some improvement. This is going to be rough on the defense. Defense has only got 1 secondary starter back. That's not great. I've got them at 2-8. I could see them getting up to 4 wins if everything kind of clicks exactly right, but this is a weird year for everything to click right.
They would need everything to fall into place right to get to 4. I think that is a ceiling for them. Yes. I like your number at 2.
There you go. Let's move on from there. The Georgia Southern Eagles. I think I got that right. Yep. Georgia Southern, Chad Lunsford in his 4th season. This guy gets it. Georgia Southern, there is a culture there. Triple option is it. That is what they run. The fans do not want to deviate from it. They had guys come in that tried to deviate from it, and they ran those dudes directly out of town.
Yes, sir.
They are completely fine with you going 7-6, so long as you play your rear end off and you run the triple option. That's what they want there. So, with that said, you got 80% of your offense returning this year, and quarterback Shai Werts is where it starts. I mean, this guy gets the offense. He is a superstar for them. Talent advantage in 9 games. Projected favorites in 8 of 11 games. They are projected to win 6.58. Look, they got a rivalry win over App State last year, and App State always has problems with them.
Well, it's because you get a week to prepare for the triple option.
Yes.
That's why.
It's going to be tough for them to improve unless they work on their 30.7% conversion rate on 3rd downs. I mean, you don't have a lot of margin of error when you're running a triple option attack. There is talent here. I've got them going 7-4. I think they're going to be just fine. Defensive end, Raymond Johnson, linebacker, Rashad Byrd are other key players to look out for. 7-4, I think, will be pretty good. I think people are going to be happy with that.
Okay. Yeah, I'd have them going over that.
Okay.
Really? I like this team.
I could understand.
I think they're consistent, and I think they give people trouble.
Oh,
it's just,
they absolutely
It's just trying to prepare for it. They do it so well. They've been doing it for so long, and you're right. That you have to try hard.
Yes.
I know that sounds crazy, but not every team tries hard on every play.
Yeah. And this
all
bunch,
11 on both sides fight like hell every snap.
This bunch certainly
that's
does.
A culture there.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So we're going to stay in Georgia. We're going to move into the Georgia State Panthers. Sean Elliott, former offensive line coach at South Carolina, et cetera, et cetera. He is finally building himself a pretty good offensive line at Georgia State, and they shocked some people last year. Remember, they got that big opening win over Tennessee last year.
That's right.
Look, they went 7-6 last year, and that was a marked improvement from going 2-10 the year before that.
Yes, sir.
I think we're going to see a drop-off here. Now, the defense...
Little regression to the mean.
Yes, the defense is going to be pretty good, I think. They're an 83% returning production. That's number 1 in the Sun Belt, number 11 in the country. Offense, however, they lose everything quarterback Dan Ellington. I mean, it was a weird year last year. They had wins over Arkansas State, over Troy, over Tennessee, but they lost to Texas State and Louisiana Monroe and teams like that. It was just all over the board. There was very little consistency with that. The offense was absolutely a mess. And you want to talk about a kid that gave everything he had. Dan Ellington tore his ACL against Louisiana Monroe and finished the game. And then came out and played every game that was left on the schedule. Now, they only went 1-4 down the stretch. The only win was over South Alabama. They lose him this year. He's coming in immediately as like a grad assistant.
Yeah,
he's going to be helping coach. But I think that leadership on the field is going to be lacking. I've got them at 3-7. I mean, this is kind of a tough schedule for them.
Yeah, they do have a tough schedule.
You know, the key players to look out for: linebacker Victor Hayward, wide receiver Cornelius McCoy, the most talented player on the roster is South Carolina transfer Jamie Est Williams. He's a cornerback, so keep an eye out for him.
He'll be good.
But they got dudes, right? They got a talent advantage in 4 games. Their projected win total is 3.43. They're only projected favorites in 2 games. So.
I would have guessed 4-7.
Yeah, or 4-6, or even 5.
Well, they've got 11 games,
so do they have 11? I've only got 10. See, this is what's crazy about this, right? I
got 11.
Who knows? Either way, I've got them winning 3 games. I can see them winning 4.
This is why I quit doing this.
Yeah, I can understand it. So we're going to move on. And we are moving into Troy, Alabama. Head coach Chip Lindsey in his second season. Look, the last 4 years of Neil Brown, this team went 31 and last 3 years of Neil Brown. They went 31-9.
That's good, right?
Or 31-8. Sorry, 8.
That's good. That sounds good. That sounds better.
Yes, went 31-8.
Okay.
Last year, in the first year of Chip Lindsey, they went 5-7. They lost almost as many games in the first year of Chip Lindsey as they did in 3 years with Neil Brown. And what makes it even more crazy, this year they have a talent advantage in all 11 games that they play.
God.
Or 11 out of 12 games that they play.
That's insane.
They're projected favorites in 8 games. Their projected win total is 7.23. Now,
BYU, the only game they don't have the favorite in?
no, I want to say it was somebody else.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was somebody else.
They have more talent than BYU?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But it has to be BYU or App State.
No, they outdo App State. It was somebody else. Who is it? Who have we got? Troy.
Nobody else should be better than them.
Maybe it is.
It has to be BYU.
Maybe it is BYU.
It has to be BYU.
Key players on this.
That's
linebacker, defensive end, Carlton Marshall. Nose guard, Will Cholo Jr., and wide receiver, Kalen Geiger. These are guys to look out for with Troy this year. Only 48% of the offense returns. 71% of the defense, though. I mean, this defense is going to be lights out.
Now, they're going to be good. I think they're going to bounce back. I don't know if they're going to be all the way back to the Neil Brown days, but I think they're going to be a lot better than they were last year. The defense last year was it couldn't get much worse than it was. And I think that a second year under Brandon Hall, the defensive coordinator, I think it's going to be a step in the right direction, especially with as much returning production as they've got. I mean, the number 2 in the Sun Belt at that regard. Chip Lindsey, known as an offensive guy. I mean, he was offensive coordinator at Auburn. We'll see what happens. They need a quarterback to step up, and they need it pretty badly. I've got them 7-5. I think they're going to be fine. I was about to say that I have them. I feel like they're going to bounce back to where they were.
Yeah, I think 7-5 is okay.
Not to where they were, but yeah, not 5-7 again.
Agreed. I don't think they go 5-7 when you've got that much more talent than everybody else, and it's not that much more. But it's more. Talent matters. At some point in time, the dudes matter. Yes, they do. All right, we are moving into the Sun Belt West, and our first team on the docket for that is Blake Anderson's Arkansas State Red Wolves, right down the street from us.
Yes, sir.
Over in Jonesboro. What is that, an hour and a half away from us?
Yes, probably an hour and a half.
Not too
Worked there
shabby.
for a long time.
Offensive S&P plus, they were number 53 last year. They never have a problem moving the ball. I mean, they are unbelievable. The defense, pretty awful last year, allowed 34.2 points per game. It's tough when you see a team that goes 8-5 and they average giving up more points than they score.
It's weird.
That's strange, right?
You play a lot of close games, but the games you got beat, you got the hell beat out of you.
Yeah. As far as key players go, so they're projected favorites in 8 out of 12 games, talent advantage in 8 games. Their projected win, 7.23. They return 77% of their offense, which is pretty damn good. Defense, not as good, 54%, but defense has never been their thing anyway.
Nope. Heading for a while.
The number one key player for them that I've got down, as far as highest rated with experience and talent and whatever, is quarterback Logan Bonner. But there is a chance that Lane Hatcher wins that starting job. Lane Hatcher last year won Freshman of the Year in the Sun Belt. He had nearly 3,000 yards passing, 27 touchdowns after he replaced an injured Bonner early in the season. You are not going to have a problem scoring points with Arkansas State. Blake Anderson.
Doesn't matter who the quarterback's going to be.
Blake Anderson should have been hired away from there a long time ago. He is about as consistent as it gets.
Didn't he get a big buyout in his contract after they lost? So
yes.
They lost Hugh. They lost Malzahn. And I think after,
Brian Harsin.
Yeah, Harsin. I think after that, they made whoever the sign, like, if you're going to take this job, I think it's pretty massive.
But that was early on in that contract.
We're pretty late. I just don't know how those things are.
Here's the thing: Arkansas State, even this season, they open with Memphis and Kansas State.
Oh no, they go and play people.
They go and play. I mean, they played Alabama last year. They just do this over and over and over again. They are not scared of anybody, but it does make that record look a little bit worse.
Well, but they don't care about that because they get in the conference, and after you push around bigger schools or get pushed around by bigger schools, blocking for these smaller schools ain't so bad.
No, it's really not. It's really not.
That offense gets kicked into high gear
You've got that right. All right, we are moving on.
Hang on, what record you get?
I had them at 7-5.
Okay, I'd probably be close to that. I was thinking 8, but that's.
I feel really good about this team. I think 7-5 kind of undersells them.
Yeah, I was about to say 8-9 is what I would think,
but
I think they're good.
I've only got them 2 losses in conference.
Yeah, and I think they're going to lose the 2 non-cons.
And then, so who have they got? They've got Memphis.
They've got Memphis,
Kansas State, Central Arkansas. I've got them losing to Tulsa, but they could easily win the Tulsa game.
Yeah, I think they'll beat Tulsa and Central Arkansas.
I mean, there ain't no telling.
No problems with.
There ain't no telling. So I've only got them 2 conference losses. So we'll see. We will see what happens. We are moving on to
love this team,
the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. Down in Lafayette, Billy Napier in his 3rd season, and look, returning both coordinators, Rob Sale in his 3rd year, defensive coordinator Patrick Toney in his 3rd year. SP Plus on offense, they were number 15 in the country last year. Overall, number 32, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good. You expect that out of teams like App State in the Sun Belt, but maybe not teams like Louisiana. But he is recruiting down there like an SEC juggernaut. He ain't getting 4 and 5 stars, but he is getting some 4 stars and the best of the 3 stars, and he's keeping kids home.
And he knows how to coach them up.
Oh, he most certainly does.
He can take a 2-star and turn them to a 3 pretty easily.
Projected favorites in 9 out of 11 games. They have a talent advantage in 9 of 11 games. Their projected win total is 8.22. Key players here: Joe Dillon, defensive end Chauncey Manick, running back Elijah Mitchell. They had a top 10 scoring offense and top 20 scoring defense last year. It looks to be more of the same this go around. Quarterback Levi Lewis, he is going to put up massive numbers along with that running back Elijah Mitchell. I've got them 9-2. I think that they are going to be unbelievable this year.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too. I think they're only going to lose 2 games. I think there are 3 teams that they are going to be equal to or worse than, and I think they win one of those games, no doubt. There's no way they lose all 3 of those. I think everybody else they play, I think they kind of beat them up.
If I were Iowa State, I would have scheduled anybody else.
Anybody else. Yeah. Anybody else. That's right. I think they could come get Iowa State. I know you're a fan of that team. I know you're very high on them this year. Yeah. I'm telling you that this is one of those where I looked at that and I was like, that could be a coin flip.
Oh, it absolutely
Iowa State
could
could
be.
Get out the gate 0-1 on a season where they're trying to make real noise.
Good thing is it wouldn't do anything to their conference.
Well, no, but it does a lot to morale.
But it does to the psyche.
It does a lot to the brain, and there's different feelings of kicking somebody's butt week 1 and getting your butt handed to you by somebody. You're probably, in the eyes of your fan base, you're better than.
Yes, you are expected to beat a non-Power 5 team. Just period. We're going to move on from there. We're moving to South Alabama, down in Mobile. Steve Campbell in his 3rd season. Things have not gone well.
This went from a team that, growing up, I remember them being that tough out, would always go play SEC schools.
Well, that was Joey Jones. Yeah, I mean, they upset Mississippi State a few years ago.
That's right. And it was just one of those things where everybody just kind of stopped scheduling them, and then everybody just kind of started scheduling them again.
Yeah. And the reason you do is because of things like this.
Yeah.
2018, they went 3-9 last year. In the 2nd year, when you're supposed to actually show a little improvement. Went 2-10.
Yeah, you can't go backwards.
Nope.
We don't go backwards in football.
Number 122 in SP Plus last year overall. That's just not good. That's just not good at all. Returning production, they got 65% coming back this season. They are projected favorites in Goose Egg.
Yeah,
0 of 11.
Right.
They have a talent advantage, and this is where it really gets you.
Yeah.
Talent advantage in only 1 of 11 games. If you are based in Mobile, Alabama.
How are you not recruiting if you are, you're in any of these states, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia.
Well, especially down there in the Panhandle.
Yeah, there's no reason you should not be able to get talent.
No, it's just ridiculous. Projected wins 2.14, and I pull for South Alabama. I like the Jaguars. Yeah. I want them to do well. Look, linebacker Riley Cole, good player. Safety AJ DeShazer, wide receiver Kawan Baker. They are breaking in a lot of new skill talent, but how much talent is it? In the fact that they are all inexperienced, I wanted to pick them better. I've got them 1-10.
It's hard to find a win when you're looking through this.
Yeah, it is really tough.
I mean, I might could see them get back to 2 wins.
Maybe. I mean, that's
if
everything
cap.
Goes.
I mean, they're starting the season off doing themselves no favors.
No.
No.
Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. All right, moving on from there. let's dive into the Texas State Bobcats. Jake Spavital in his second season. Bob Stitt, offensive coordinator, is gone. Spavital is taking over the play calling duties. Second-year quarterback Tyler Vitt returns from an 11-touchdown and 14-interception season. That is not something you like to see when you are an offensive head coach. And he's going to get a challenge from former Memphis backup Brady McBride. The defense they can only be improved by how much the offense keeps them off the field, because that was a big problem last year. And part of the reason why I think Stitt is gone, because they were so quick to get off the field on offense last year. Things just did not go well.
3 and out, you can't play.
Yeah, can't do it.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. Returning production, they've only got 46% coming back. I don't know what that means.
It's probably a good thing.
Maybe. In some cases, maybe it is a good thing.
I think it's a good thing.
Out with the old, in with the new, especially with the new coaching staff. You know, we'll see. When you're an offensive guy and your offensive SP plus is number 120 out of 130.
It's not good.
It's not good. Yet that's an efficiency metric. That means you were not being efficient on offense. And they weren't explosive. They weren't anything last year. Things were not good. They've got a talent advantage in 2 games this year. Their projected wins are 3.04. They are projected favorites in 2 out of 12 games. I got them 2-10. I don't, a cornerback, Jerron Morris, and defensive tackle, Kavion Patton are the 2 key players to kind of keep an eye on. And then whoever wins that quarterback battle, right? Because at Spavital, like you're focusing on that offense.
Yeah.
You're trying to see what they're going to do. But 2-10.
But yeah, I think 3 wins would be a feat.
Yes, that's pushing it. That's really pushing it. So especially right now. Now I think they're going to hang with Spavital. They're going to give him a shot. But boy, you got some work to do down there. And let's move into our last one here, and then we will get out of your hair. If you would, go give us a like on the video if you like what you're seeing, and you can share the show out, of course. Louisiana Monroe, ULM, the Warhawks, Matt Viator. Is it Viator?
I think Viator's fine.
I mean, he's a Louisiana guy, so I don't know. I know they like it.
I guarantee you Viator's not how he says it.
It's probably Matt Viator. Probably Matt. Yeah, who knows? Either way, he's moving into his 5th season. We're getting into kind of put up or shut up time. It ain't going to be this season. I'll go ahead and tell you that. This is a team that's fairly consistent. They sometimes rise up and beat teams they're not supposed to, but they also sometimes lose to teams they're not supposed to.
That's right.
And while you may say that doesn't seem very consistent, here's the deal. They play everybody tough. Just the way it goes. Yeah. So they
don't get blown out by people, and it actually is pretty good.
Yeah. And every now and then you can sneak up and beat somebody, and every now and then you're going to get snuck up on. That's just the way it goes. Cornerback Corey Strouder. That is a player right there. That's who you need to be paying attention to, along with running back Josh Johnson and tight end Josh Peterson. Projected favorites in 4 out of 12 games. They got a talent advantage in 4 out of 12 games. Their projected win total is 4.85. And so I kind of rolled with that.
I literally looked at this schedule, and I said, I think 4 wins is good. I think 4 wins is really good. And then you give in all the numbers, and I'm thinking, all right, I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
There's a really good chance we're dead wrong when I see things the way
maybe so.
We all see the same thing. A lot of times that doesn't happen, but
I've got them 5-7. I expect them to be competitive in every game. They've gone 4-4 in conference the last 3 years running.
That's right.
So there's no Florida State, there's no Iowa State, there's no Memphis on this schedule. That's a good thing. So
let me ask you this: does playing Army help you prepare for Georgia Southern? Now they're like 4 weeks apart.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
because you've seen it before.
I think so too. I think I like having the conference game a little later in the season after I've already played a team that's going to run the same kind of, not just system, but also a team that plays hard, fights hard, has a lot of pride in how they do things. I think you lose that game, but I think it helps you in the game against the conference opponent that you need.
Yes, I agree.
I still don't think they're going to win that game.
They may not.
I absolutely think it helps.
I think you're right. I think you are right.
I would schedule more triple option non-cons if I was going to go try to get a check from somebody if I played one in my conference.
I think that's a smart idea. That's a smart idea.
Because I don't care about that win. I'm getting paid to take a loss usually.
That is true. That is true. All right, if you want to see our conference champions, the guys that we think will be in the conference title game, you can go over and see our conference championship picks video. It's right here on the same channel. If you want to see more sports content this season, make sure you go over to sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. All of our stuff for the entire college football season is going to be right there. All of our videos, our picks, our written content, etc. We got some great guys writing over there right now. SBRpicks.com/NCAAF is where you need to go and check it out. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you are subscribed and that you share it out on social media. Whatever your platform is, Twitter, Facebook, etc. Go on and share the show out. Tell everybody you know about it. We would appreciate that. But for now, we're going to go ahead and get out of your hair with this one. For sportsbookreview.com, I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And we will see you guys the next time.